Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Turn Right Machine Works. My name is Keith, and we're getting ready for a new line boring job. This would be something that we've never done before, and we're doing it because we can. Alright, I'm just checking out new material for our bar. We ordered a piece of 1045 carbon steel. This is ground finish, and I'm just spinning it on my rollers, and the thing is less than a thousandth anywhere on here. So, and I've been sliding it back and forth, and even the ends are pretty good. This is the butt in here, but we're going to be doing some machining on here to hold a thrust bearing so the bar will not move, and our item is going to move back and forth on the lathe carriage. Yes, we're going to do another line bore in the lathe. Besides the ground material here, we picked up a couple. We downsized our bit a little bit. We have 3/8 and we have 1/2 inch in the TSA size bits, which we really like for boring. And this is a TSA 5 C6, so we'll be able to high alloy strength cutting with this carbide here. Of course, these are China, and we've had pretty good luck with them. We also picked up a couple 5/16 square tool bit sleeves with a threaded hole in them, and we picked these up from MSC and they just say 2 1/4 long 5/16 tool bit square hole sleeves. But if you look at it in the the book, it says low carbon. So sometimes by punching in low carbon tool bit square sleeves, you'll get your results on your Google search. All right. So there's the material and the tool bits in there. We're going to be putting in 4 bits, which will give us a pretty good spread of where we can slide the bar and cut. We got 5 bores that we're going to be tending to. All right, we're going to also be setting up, because this is going to be self-centering bearings that are going to center this line bore, and we're going to drive it with some Lovejoy couplings. Now this is set up, and of course the height difference between center line and our object that we're going to be mounting on the lathe is going to be a little bit more and exceed the 25-degree angle that Lovejoy calls out for their max angle. All right. Well, we got our yokes in line and everything else, but we may have to add a section in there so that we can extend out into the middle of the lathe bed and reduce that angle. So we're going to be looking at that as well. All right, let's. I'm going to move this out of the way here, and we're going to get our project up here, because we have to take some more measurements, because we're tooling up on the lathe bed to hold our object, and we need it up here so we can get some final dimensions so we can do some adjustments. Okay, after getting this out of the bag, I realized that I had misstated that I actually have 5 caps. I actually have 6 main bearing caps. This is a Audi 2.1 liter 5-cylinder, and just knowing that it had 5 jugs, I just was automatically, for some reason, thinking that there was 5 mains in here. But we got it up here, and we laid the bar over here because with having 6 mains, I believe I can probably put 3 tool bit locations and be able to pick up these two, and these two with 3 different setups or bearings. Now we're going to be, let me grab that before I lose it. We're going to be creating self-aligning bearings, and I have some high strength, high quality bronze bushing material. I happen to have a full 13-incher plus this piece right here. We might be able to just get it out of this piece right here. All right, and all we're doing is we're taking the material out of the new caps. We have all the old caps in here, and we're going to be setting them up, setting the bar up with the old caps opposite of the ones that we're working on, and we're going to flip-flop our line boring caps with the non-working tool bit area, so that we can bring out the material we want on these caps right here, so that they can come in after we're done and be able to put their hone in and have a good starting bore for that hone, so that minimum amount of material will be able to be cleaned out of this to make a perfectly straight line. And that's the name of the game. So that you have the gist of it, let's bring you in and just a little closer and take a look at the caps themselves. And you can feel this surface right here. I haven't mic'd them up yet to find out. I'm going to wait until I'm actually thinking about numbers. Right now I'm thinking about setup. So my setup is my first concern. How I'm going to get this set up so that I can bore it with this bar in the lathe and have the control of the bed of the lathe. Alright, and that's the main goal of my setup right now. Okay, just because I know it's going to bother you. It's not bothering me, but I know it'll bother you. And I'm just going to take a snap gauge here, and we're going to take a height measurement right here. Of course, the height, the split line of the bearing cap here, we're only reading half of the diameter that's smaller on the bearing caps. And I'm getting about 470, 471, and the bore that they're looking for is 2 inches 478 to 479. All right, so ideally that's what we're looking for. And if I'm only reading half of that dimension there, then the amount of material on each side here is probably about 10 thousandths, roughly 10 thousandths, give or take a thousandths, undersized. Okay, we snapped it this way here. That gave us half of the material that this is less than this bore right here. All right, this is obviously smaller than this bore, and we're going to be machining out this half surface right here to match as close as we can without touching this here, so that we can then let Dennis and the crew over at All Cape Machine line hone this block. All right, now this is just a guessometer here, and I was just kind of like taking the average right here. So we got like 2467, and then this way here we got 2470. And remember, I had, what did I have up and down here? I had two inches, 471, 72 in that realm right there. So, and also just below the split line here, you can see that we're 2478, 77, 78. I might be slipping somewhat into that split line there. And of course, these are just guessometers. Okay, we got 2455 or so. So my theory that there's 10 thousandths that's on this that we've got to take out of there is going to be touch off, get that diameter, and then just barely. This should be probably 2 passes per bore, and hopefully that moves along at a fast pace. But this setup is going to take us a day or better. We have 2 nice pieces of stock right here, and we've just made sure that they didn't have any burrs on them. We've already milled the pocket in on this side here, so it goes over my table brake, and we're setting it up so that we catch this outside slot. We're going to put, this is 7/16 bolt slots, so I'm going to go ahead and mill 2 longitudinal with the bed ways elongated slots so that this can adjust forward and aft here. And we're going to come down center line from our lathe, and we're just going to split on each side of the jug. We're going to flip the block up in a minute, and we're going to measure those studs. We had to because the first thing we found out was the head bolts are 11 millimeters by 1.5 millimeter lead, the bastard size, and you can't just go down to the hardware store and get yourself a couple bolts. All we want to do is be able to bolt up and underneath here and then come into the head so that we got that engine block upside down, spanning between that rail and this rail right here, and I'm going to slot these the same way and pick the center the same way here. Our compound will actually be able to move out of the way, and the head will go down through the center here. If need be, if this was a bigger block, and we're making this so that we can take more engine blocks. We're not just making the tooling for this block for one-time use. We want to build a bar and a mount so that we can mount any block you want to do in here and be able to offer this service. So that's what we're up to. All right, let's find out what span we're going to have to split these apart, and I want to get these things drilled and milled so that I can get the block up here on the lathe. Okay, these were 1/2-inch National Fine grade 8 bolts, and I went ahead and skimmed them down to 0.430, a couple 3/1000s under 11 millimeters, and then I threaded them single pointed in the Rutland lathe. My first time changing out the gears on there and going through that process there. All right, so we're going to put 2 here. We're going to measure this, and then we're going to go down to the end down here, and we're going to make sure that those are matching widths. Okay, we just set everything up, and we checked the width of those bolt span and this bolt span, and then subtracted 1 bolt, and we got about 3 inches 255 on our center to center. So we're going to go set up our plates that we're going to be bolting this down with and get those milled out. Okay, we already got these holes done in the countersinks on the back side, so the head of the bolt will get in there and we can turn it with the socket. And those will bolt directly to the head bolts. These slots here we're working on now will actually bolt down to the table, and we'll have some adjustment forward and aft on the table. I'm just taking a couple hundred deep on the each pass, going back and forth. Crank down another couple hundred. All right, here's another project that's sitting here waiting for the mill, but it may have a little bit more to wait because we got the bar to come in here, and we got to drill for the inserts into the bar. But I've got it set up. This is a dummy going into the hub. The hub is in on a 3-jaw, and we have an all-thread going through the whole index head. I have the masking plate on the back side of here indexed for the 8 screws that bolt on the end here, which is a spline. Now the customer says that these hubs are not obtainable anymore, and they've already been tried to fix by weld, so we got some interference weld and some other things in here on this project. We're going to be carrying this project probably along with another video as well, so just kind of keep an eye open for it. Alright, we found a hole over here, and we put a shackle eye bolt through that section there, and we had a bolt over here, and we got sort of going around the corner, and the bolt's actually kind of like helping it. This is a strap, and I've straddled the middle, and I put a lock down here. Want a good secure hold for this thing. It's not heavy, but we want to be able to lift it up and down, set it, and wipe underneath it, and all of that. And we don't want to be lifting or pulling on any of the main bearing caps. I don't think that would be too cool. So it looks equal enough that we can go ahead and slide it over from here. All right, let's go ahead and move you on over here. All right, let's see what we got here. Yeah, you think you remove everything and okay. I always carry a little aluminum hook, and I kind of like always straddle that up just in case you can't hang that chain on something. That's important. Okay, now I think I can roll the carriage right underneath here, and if we have to, we can move the gantry. Okay, and I know I can move this around here until I get this set down here, and we can move this over here. Alright, now we'll start coming down. I had this clearance on this foot over here. Okay, we can slide that back afterwards. Bring this on down. There we go. Alright, our lathe's a 5-cylinder now. Alright, we knew it would fit on here. We just didn't know how it was going to go about getting it on there. But it is safely on there. And now we can check our run. Now we're going to square this up with the lathe bed. And then we'll start working on getting our dummy bearing set up and our bar in here, and then the yoke to drive it.